Hello, family. We got some really great news at the end of last year that I had made a list for the 100 most reputable Africans, and I'm very humbled at this. And along with that, they've sent a couple of questions for me to answer. So this is a Q&A for 100 most reputable Africans. What does it mean to be named at this point in my journey? I don't know. I really don't know. I stopped. Look, first of all, I'm very humbled. Thank you. To have met the criteria and to have been listed alongside what it must be said are some incredible Africans all over the world doing some really, really cool stuff. So that's always humbling. Second, I don't know, man. I stopped counting lists quite a while ago, and not necessarily because they don't matter, but just because I think you've got to look beyond the accolades and awards sometimes. But at this stage of my life, it just represents to me the value of putting your head down. Just put your head down, do the work, and sooner or later, what actually counts is the numbers on the scoreboard. And I'm just privileged to be in a stage in my life where if you look at the scoreboard in terms of things that God has allowed me to achieve, there are a lot more greens than there are reds. Whew, that's a tough one. Personal values that have guided my decisions and moments that have tested my integrity. First, resilience. I think, resilience is one of those things that you don't know you have until you have to show it. You don't really know that you've got grit until you are in a moment or a season that requires of you to have grit. And then you test that muscle. So the truth of it is that you just don't know until you are tested. And so I think for sure the first of those would be resilience and grit. And the second would be humility. The recognition that the work is bigger than you, the assignment is bigger than your ego, and that you are just a vessel. Something much bigger, much bigger is operating through you, much bigger. As a believer, I believe that thing is God. But whatever it is that you believe, there is something much bigger that is operating through you. So that idea that you have, that passion that you have, that talent that you have, that skill that you've acquired over time, something much bigger is channeling that and using you to make the world a better place. And so for sure for me, when I've been tested, that's been what's held me together. Just the recognition that I'm just a guy. I'm just a grain of sand in the desert, right? And I will come into this world and I will go. But I hope that in the time that I'm here, I allow God to use me to make the world a better place, however small my role in that might be. What mindset shift do I believe the next generation of Africans need to take or have? Two, first is that we are one. And this is a hugely political thing and people often misunderstand it when you say it, right? I'm not advocating for the collapse of nation states or some of the more radical political ideas. That's not what it is that I mean. But ultimately, no matter where in the world we find each other as Africans, we are Africans. And even if you try to disown that you are African, you can't because it's in you, right? So it is the idea that we share a fate, that we share a destiny, purely of the fact that we are in this generation together. So I think the first would be that we are one. I've been very intentional about building relationships across the border with other brothers and sisters who are Africans doing amazing things. I'd love to help them and help them win in different spaces, whether they're in media or business and politics or civil society or education, whatever it is that they're doing. Anytime I come across an African doing amazing stuff, I really lean into those relationships because I recognize that we are one. And the second thing I think, which is probably the curse that a lot of us Africans have inherited, is the ability to think at scale. Think at scale, build at scale, deliver at scale. The challenges we face are so big that thinking small is criminal. And so it behooves us to make sure that we think bigger and that we do bigger. And the difficulty is that some of us come from such depraved backgrounds that we just think about how to survive. And so the consequence is that we spend our time, our energies, our talents, our abilities just trying to make sure that we're not drowning, when actually we have sufficient time, education, opportunity, and skill to go a lot further than just making sure that we're surviving. We should be building stuff at scale. So for me, for sure, working to make sure that we build stuff at scale is really, really important.